Alright, so this is video reflection for, I think it's, I'm actually not sure. I think it's the 23rd, 24th. Yeah, today was the 24th. I want to talk about two things. Firstly, about the IYPT Boomerang Launcher project, and also about lifestyles and vernier calipers, which might be, which might sound interesting. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Boomerang project. First thing, I did another test yesterday. I did another test yesterday with the two guys that were there. The code worked, the servo worked. That is past perfect because the servo broke, not because the servo was at fault, it's because the big motor just shot it off course due to inertia, but everything worked. Then why am I still working on a third version, right? Oh god, it's pretty hot in here. The reason for that is pretty simple. It's because the big motor, when connected to a rail or when connected to a belt and rail system, doesn't output enough power to accelerate the boomerang 10 meters per second. It's too slow. And so I devised a different, kind of desperate new idea. It's basically just using the big motor with a lever arm and attaching the boomerang to the one end of the lever arm to rotate it and then fling it out. Which is an interesting way of doing it. And it works. Or the release and the lever arm part works. I haven't tested it with the boomerang because my house isn't really the largest. But yeah, what have I learned? Both of these setbacks have taught me that simplifying the design to meet the minimum requirements is always the best course of action. Always simplify. Always simplify if possible. Make it simpler. Remove over-engineered parts. Just make it the simplest thing possible to perform a certain function. It has the least amount of parts. It has the most mundane and boring design. If it works, it works. Yeah. Function over form. Yeah, that's part one. The second part is about vernier calipers, lifestyles, and motorcycle advertising. It might sound kind of weird, but over the past couple of days, as I've been riding motorcycles and whatnot, I've learned a thing or two about expectation versus reality. When people expect, or when people see themselves riding motorcycles, they don't actually, how to put this delicately, or not delicately, how to put this comprehendibly. Is that even a word? How to put this so you can understand. Okay, so when people buy motorcycles, they don't buy the product itself that makes X amount of horsepower and can go X miles per hour and has this seat position and is a sport bike or a naked bike or a touring bike or whatever. They buy the lifestyle. Now, you might say that that's not true and that you buy the motorcycle because it has better specs or it has a fancy design, but most of the time you're buying the motorcycle because of two things. One is lifestyle, the lifestyle that the motorcycle itself represents. And then the second thing is the personality of the motorcycle. Now, I'm going to break these down so you can understand. So firstly, the lifestyle of the motorcycle it's pretty simple. You don't buy an iPhone because of the specs or because of the performance of the phone. You buy it because it is an experience. Using an iPhone is an experience. That's what Steve Jobs wanted to do. It also stands for, the iPhone itself as a product stands for something more than just a phone itself. It stands for the philosophy of Apple as a company. It stands for what that company strives to accomplish with their design and technology. That's the Apple lifestyle or ecosystem, right? So that's one example. Another example is Zippo lighters. You know, there are far better Chinese products that are capable of this exact same thing, but you still buy Zippo lighters like these because it, well, firstly, it's cool, sure, but it also has, it also represents a certain lifestyle. Maybe that might be something about the outdoors, or ruggedness, or roughness, but the Zippo, or durability, or something, but it represents that kind of lifestyle. It might not, sometimes it might not be, as obvious. Like this Zippo, it's like, it's a lighter. People don't think or make the connection immediately. They're like, it's a lighter. It doesn't represent a lifestyle, but sure. But when it comes to motorcycles, it's a bit different. Let's say you buy let's say someone buys an adventure bike, and let's be honest, most of the people that live in cities and work 9 to 5 don't really have time to ride adventure bikes that often, if at all. Let's say you bought a Honda Africa Twin. You're not so much buying the motorcycle itself that is great for touring and for going, semi-off-road or moto camping, which has the positioning for it and whatnot. You're not buying that bike. You're buying the lifestyle that bike represents, which is going on adventure trips in the weekends, maybe camping out in the wilderness, or going to like camping sites and touring with friends, I guess. That's the life cycle, or that's the lifestyle that the Africa Twin represents, and that's the lifestyle that people buy into when they buy motorcycles. Same thing for a ZX4RR. That's a super sport motorcycle. People don't buy that because, well, people may have different reasons, but some people buy it because it represents the super sport. A humble super sport, but still a super sport, right? They buy into the lifestyle of going to track days, kitting your motorcycle out with track equipment, going to the track and beating lap times, even though they've never ridden a motorcycle before, or even if you've never gone to track before, they still buy the bike because they want that lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying everybody does this, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people out there are just, that's merely a side benefit, if at all, and maybe they just buy it because they like the looks and the horsepower. But I think it is undeniable that motorcycle advertising focuses around advertising the lifestyle itself rather than the specs of the motorcycle, because maybe back in the day, in the 1999 era, when Honda, Suzuki, and all Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, and the other, and Kawasaki were trying to get the fastest motorcycle out. Maybe back then performance was key, but now most motorcycles have more than enough power to use on everyday riding and on the streets, and even in and even on highways. So now it's less about power and torque and whatever, and it's more about the lifestyle that the motorcycle represents. It's kind of become like a car. What lifestyle does a car represent? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, I'm just pointing it out. And that got me thinking, if I am browsing motorcycles, because I want a certain lifestyle, then maybe I should wake up and realize that I'm not going to get that lifestyle just because I buy a motorcycle. I'm more likely to get that lifestyle or create a certain lifestyle that I want by riding my motorcycle and adjusting it to fit my lifestyle needs. If I want to go camping, add saddlebags. If I want to go take it on a track day, maybe remove the side mirrors, something like that. But rather than finding the problem of your lifestyle on an object, or rather than pinning the problem of your mundane or unsatisfactory lifestyle on an object, you should try to change that lifestyle with what you have already and not go out and buy something else, because that's how most marketing and advertising ploys work these days. It gets to the dream and the dream lifestyle of someone, and it says if you buy this product you'll be able to get that lifestyle, when in reality it won't help unless you actually make a difference. For someone who's already living that lifestyle, that new product or motorcycle or object will definitely help, obviously. But if you're just buying something because you want the lifestyle that you don't have already, then I don't think it's gonna help, right? So that's what I was thinking, and that's what got me to ride motorcycles more often, is because I want to create my own lifestyle where I ride motorcycles more often. Right now, I'm at the stage where I'm kind of like riding a bike, or I'm kind of at the stage, the early stages of riding a bicycle, where you kind of want to ride a bicycle, but it's not something that you would, you know, allocate your time to on purpose, because it's kind of scary, kind of nerve-wracking, and honestly not that comfortable for now. That's my phase for now on the motorcycle. It's fun, but it's a nervous, anxious, kind of scary kind of fun for now. I only have like 20 miles on that thing, so that's to be expected. Or 20 miles, or about 35 kilometers. But yeah, it's nerve-wracking when I take it onto the street. It's fun, right? But it's still kind of stressful for now. I still need to know how to watch the navigations and whatnot, and yeah, but I'm slowly building that lifestyle of being comfortable riding motorcycles, because that's the lifestyle I want to have, and I really want to be able to enjoy riding motorcycles because I think they're really cool, and I've seen how fun it is firsthand. I felt how fun it is when you're riding comfortably. When was I riding comfortably? In a blank street with no cars. If I can ride like that, on, I don't know, or not ride like that, but ride with that same mentality on a filled street, then I can still have fun. So that's what I'm striving to do. And about the third topic, or not the third topic, it's rather an extension of the second, but about vernier calipers. These calipers are my carbon fiber composite digital calipers, which these are all right. Like, I already lost the piece that makes them, resist just falling like this, so it has no resistance, and the digital part doesn't turn on at all. But it's pretty much okay for rough measurements. I use it as just a caliper, but it's pretty okay for rough measurements, and I get by with this just fine. But I also reflected what my lifestyle was. I don't know if you can see from this angle, but this is my desk right now. You could say it's pretty messy, but that's my lifestyle. of a freelancing engineer. Make stuff. It's messy. I don't have to buy anything to get this lifestyle of making things. It's just my life. Some people think it's cool, and I think that's how lifestyles are made and romanticized. I don't go out and buy a Misudoyo, or Mar Vernier caliper because I want a lifestyle. Because I already have a cheapo $3 Vernier plastic caliper that works decently fine. But if I buy something like that, it'll definitely help, because I had to print this piece twice because I got the measurements wrong. So if I had something better, it would definitely help me. But is someone going to become this maker type of lifestyle, or is someone going to have this maker type of lifestyle just because they buy fancy tweezers, a Milwaukee impact drill, a Leatherman pocket knife, Mar Vernier calipers, a fancy soldering iron, and some oil? No, that's not how it works, right? It's a lifestyle. It has life to it, right? The word life is in there. You have to be living that style for it to be a lifestyle. Okay, it's not like you can buy it, right? And yeah, I think the sooner I realized this, suddenly the Ninja, I don't know, ZX6R and the other racetrack machines, they didn't seem so appealing, because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go to racetracks at all. Maybe I think I'll settle for something on the street that makes a mean sound, And I don't think I really need an inline 4. It's not as much of a lifestyle thing as it is personal. I just don't think the sound is cool. I think it's kind of bland. And I also like quieter bikes for now. It sounds like a car, because cars are V4s or V8s, or some of them are inline 4s. And I don't really like the sound of cars. They're boring for me. I don't want to hear that sound from my bike as well. I think I like twins the most, actually. Those make pretty cool sounds. Anyway, that's about it for today's reflection. And I'll see you again. Actually, I don't know when, but I'll see you again. Bye-bye.